Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna let it out. Tonight, we're gonna let it out. Tonight, we're gonna let it out. Just like the sunrise, we're gonna let it out. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna let it out. Tonight, we're gonna let it out. Tonight, we're gonna let it out. Just like the sunrise, we're gonna let it out.
Hello, everyone. I'm not staying on camera. I just wanted to say hi. So, hello. Hey, Lori. Turtle Gang, you better be back. How are y'all doing, everyone? I hope you're well. So, this is just stuff that's going over that's happened in the world that we don't hear because it's not high profile cases, and it's weird shit, it's sad shit, and it's just, oh my god, y'all, wait to hear the stories that I have for you guys. I was going through them like, this is sickening. I just don't get it. I just don't get it at all. So let's pay the first one. We got some jambalaya for supper, guys. I'm so ready for some. Missing woman's decomposed body found in car as person of interest sought. If y'all hear Penelope snoring, it's Penelope snoring. Sorry. Okay, guys, so he's still out, and we still haven't heard about this. Hey, Slipper Sloth, thanks for coming in. The badly decomposed body of a woman missing for 2 weeks has been found in a parking garage, according to Texas officials. Monica Alcanzar, 22, was last seen leaving the Leawood condominiums in Houston on August 26, and her family confirmed her body had been discovered. Houston Police Department said Alcantar's body was found in the driver's seat of a vehicle on Sunday, September 10th, and that it was in an advanced stage of decomposition. Responding officers did not find any signs of foul play or trauma, and an autopsy is being carried out to confirm the cause of death. Alcantar's aunt, Byrani Amador, told CBS affiliate KHOU, "This is a horror movie. My family and I searched for her. We thought of all the possible locations and scenarios and hired a private investigator, but we had no idea where to look. None." And this is a picture of 22-year-old Monica. The National Missing and Unidentified Persons System, NAM-US, says there are 2,586 open missing person cases and 2,598 resolved in the Lone Star State. Across the United States, there are 23,614 open missing person cases and 35,740 resolved ones. Now police have released surveillance images of a man they would like to speak to after he was seen walking close to where the body was found. A September 11th Houston Police Department HPD post describes the man as either white or Hispanic. He has been termed a person of interest and is believed to have a black Dodge Challenger. And this is it's just a screenshot of the surveillance. And this is him. You can't really tell much of anything. Amador launched a GoFundMe campaign following the discovery of her niece's body and asked for funds that would go towards a funeral for Alcantar. Amador wrote on the fundraising page, "With all the sadness in my heart, I have to announce that my niece has been found. She is no longer with us. We would like to thank with all our hearts everyone that shared the post and helped. At this time, the family asks for privacy to process the news. If you want to continue to support us for the funeral, we would appreciate it," Amador added. And this is the black Charger. Was it Charger or Challenger? Challenger. The Dodge Challenger that they expect him to be driving. Since being shared on September 6th, the GoFundMe campaign has raised an estimated $3,055 out of a $10,000 target. Initially, the money raised from the GoFundMe campaign was to go towards hiring a private investigator. Anyone with information about the identity of the person interest or this case is urged to contact the HPD Homicide Division at 713-308-3600. Once again, this is the car. And this is the surveillance of the guy they're looking for. Houston, Texas, you guys. Be on the lookout. Check this one out, y'all. Oh my gosh, you know who I thought of whenever I saw this one? All right, so family finds skeleton remains of baby inside suitcase hidden in attic. The skeletal remains of a baby boy were found hidden in a suitcase in the attic of a house in Stockport. The unidentified infant was discovered in a semi-detached house on Berwick Avenue on March 6, 2022, with police unable to ascertain the precise time of death. An investigation, which included DNA analysis of the remains, identified the skeleton as a male infant and revealed his death could have happened as long as 1959. Wow. An inquest has now opened into the boy's death, with senior coroner Allison Much revealing that the current inhabitants of the property had been clearing the address when they found the suitcase containing the remains. A home office pathologist was unable to determine the boy's cause of death. Greater Manchester Police said shortly after 11:30 a.m. on March 6, 2022, we were called to a report of remains found at an address on Berwick Avenue in Stockport. The remains are believed to be historical, and there is no evidence to suggest that the find links to any other ongoing investigation. Inquiries are ongoing. After formally opening the inquest, it was adjourned until a further hearing on September 26th. A police investigation remains ongoing. You guys, dude, that's what, 60 years old? Yeah, 60 something. Over 60 maybe. I don't know. That's before my ex-husband was born. He was born in 69. That's 10 years. And he's 9 years older than me. That's 19 years. Yeah. All right. Hey, never silent. That's crazy. Oh my God. Did you hear that, Dan? Did you hear the story? They found a skeleton in a suitcase, a skeleton of a baby in the suitcase in an attic of this house, right? They think that it was a boy. It was a boy baby. And they think that the remains could have been from 1959. Wow. That's crazy. And this is where the house is that they, I guess right here where all the trash is because they were cleaning it out. Holy guacamole. Oh, y'all. When I saw this story right here, oh, I pressed the wrong button. It reminded me of Leilani Simon. Look at this, you guys. Tell me how you feel about this article. Mom allowed to leave jail to attend 3-year-old son's funeral, pleads guilty to his death. Hey, Ashton. Right? This woman killed her 3-year-old and is allowed to leave jail to go to his funeral. I am outraged. Man, oh man, oh man. Molly Krebs, Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, and WCPO screenshot and Jaden Krebs legacy.com. Okay. A 28-year-old mother in Ohio who was previously permitted to attend her 3-year-old son's funeral despite being charged in his death, has admitted to her role in the child's untimely demise last year. Molly Krebs on Wednesday appeared in Hamilton County Court of Common Pleas, where she pleaded guilty to 1 count of involuntary manslaughter in the 2022 death of young Jaden Krebs. Court records reviews by Law and Crime show. Krebs initially pleaded not guilty to charges of involuntary manslaughter and child endangerment in December 2022. In exchange for pleading the manslaughter charge, prosecutors with the Hamilton County District Attorney's Office agreed to drop the child endangerment charge. According to a press release from Cincinnati Police Department, CPD officers at about 12:01 a.m. on Thursday, December 1st, 2022, responded to an emergency call at a residence located in the 800 block of Ridgeway Avenue in Avondale. Upon arriving at the residence, first responders located the child, later identified as Jaden, and immediately transported him to the Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center. Unfortunately, the boy was pronounced dead shortly after arriving at the facility. Krebs was taken into custody a short while later by officers with the CPD homicide unit. Oh my gosh, how is my sound? Is my sound okay? Because I forgot my headphones. Man who unalived his girlfriend and chopped her up was found today in Houston after being free. Wow! That's awesome! 5 years, guys. This guy has been free for 5 years after killing his girlfriend. Holy guacamole. Wow. Let me know if my sound's messed up. I'll go get my headphones. I totally forgot. This is the third time I go live today, you guys. I'm tired. Hey, Jiraiya. So the boy was dead. Okay. Krebs was taken into custody a short while later by officers with the CPD homicide unit and agents from the Fugitive Apprehension Squad. Police wrote that Krebs admitted to leaving the child in the bathtub unattended for a long period of time. Are you kidding? According to the probable cause affidavit. In an interview with police, Krebs said that she had worked all day for a painting and contracting company, and at some point that evening, Jaden had an allergic reaction to something. She then gave him a dose of, oh my God. She gave that baby a dose of Benadryl, put him in the bathtub unattended for a long time. Are you kidding me right now? Hey, back on my BS. Okay. Dude, are you kidding? It was not immediately clear what kind of allergic reaction Jaden had at the time, and he's 3. Finally got my daughter settled after her husband's death. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You did tell me about that. I'm sorry about that. It must be a lot for you to go through because you still have everything else on top of that. I'm sorry. Um, After putting Jaden in the bathtub, Krebs reportedly said that she walked away from the bathroom and fell asleep for an hour and a half. She gave the baby Benadryl, put him in a bathtub by himself while she goes take a nap. An hour and a half, she comes and wonders why that baby is drowned. Are you serious right now, lady? And then they let you go to his funeral? Wow. Authorities said she did not check on her son in the bathtub for at least 90 minutes. When she awoke and went to check on the boy, she found him still in the tub, laying partially submerged and unresponsive. She then called 911. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that children under the age of 6 not be given Benadryl unless specifically directed by a doctor, specifically noting that the active ingredient in the medicine, diphenhydramine, whatever that is, tends to make children I can't say that word. Diphenhydramine tends to make children very drowsy. It makes adults very drowsy. During her initial appearance in court, Krebs' attorney Jeffrey Adams said the entire ordeal was just a devastating case and that Jaden's death was completely accidental. Okay, I am going to have a complete breakdown. This is sickening. It is not an... Okay, her courtroom video obtained by WCPO. He said that his client, who was visibly distraught and could barely speak during the proceeding, dozed off after a long day of work with tragic results. I'm assuming she's a single mom. You can see her devastation, Adams said. Krebs has been in detention since her arrest, but was granted permission by a Hamilton County judge to attend Jaden's funeral on December 19th, 2022. She is scheduled to appear for her sentencing hearing on September 26th. This makes me so angry. I don't know. But that just mine Layla Lyman. Like, didn't have a funeral, wasn't able to, for her to go to. She wouldn't have gone to it. I'm sure she would have tried. But how is this? I love my Houston and Texas law enforcement, but also this week, Houston, a man robs a Fiesta. Yes, I was looking into that. I need to do that story. Are you gonna do it with me, Ashton? I can't do it late at night though because I don't want to go into Scarlett's time. Just text me and we'll figure it out. But I did look into that story you told me about. College student was I did not know what waterboarding was. Getting waterboarded. Do y'all know what that is? Because when I read it, I was like, what? College student was held captive, raped, and waterboarded in her dorm room for days before escape. Sorry, I have something in my eyeball. Keanu Lott, 19, was arrested on Sunday and charged with 5 felony counts, according to criminal complaint obtained by. This is the guy, y'all.
And stomach, per the complaint. Old man has been arrested after allegedly holding his girlfriend captive in her dorm room for 3 days in Minnesota. According to a criminal complaint obtained by People, prosecutors accused Keanu Labette of beating, waterboarding, and raping the unidentified victim at St. Catherine University, an all-female school in St. Paul, before she eventually escaped. Labette has been charged with 5 felony counts, 3 for criminal sexual conduct, and 1 for threats of violence, and 1 for domestic assault by strangulation. The criminal complaint alleges that Labette arrived at the university on Thursday to see his girlfriend, whom he had been dating for 2 months. While there, he allegedly discovered texts, pictures, and social media posts that infuriated him, prompting him to allegedly unleash a weekend of physical and sexual violence on the woman. According to the complaint, the victim told investigators that Labette took her phone away and raped her. He also allegedly choked her until she was unable to breathe, felt lightheaded, and saw stars. She also claims that he threatened to kill her and her family, as well as reminded her that she, quote, knew what he had done to a prior girlfriend. The complaint describes the victim as feeling terrified to the point that she would just lay next to Labette and not move for fear of what he would do to her. She also says that he punched her numerous times in the face and stomach. Per the complaint, the woman managed to get away on Sunday by persuading Labette to let her go to the dining hall for food. Instead, she went to police to report the incident. She then went to the hospital for examinations. According to the probable cause statement, Labette's bail has been set at $100,000.
Make it smart. Thank you. Okay. So, I this and was just like, what? Research what I went through with my ex. I'm trying to clean out, make it smaller. Stop. Why are you doing this, me? Go smaller. Stop me. There, okay. A 19-year-old man was arrested on Sunday after holding his girlfriend captive in her dorm room for 3 days in Minnesota. Keanu Labette is accused of having beaten, waterboarded, and raped the unidentified victim at St. Catherine's University. This is the all-female school, an all-female school in St. Paul, before she eventually escaped, according to a criminal complaint obtained by Paul. Wait till you hear how she escaped. Labette was charged with 5 felony counts, 3 for criminal sexual conduct, 1 for threats of violence, and 1 for domestic assault by strangulation. On Thursday, Labette arrived at the university to see his girlfriend, whom he had been dating for 2 months. While there, he allegedly discovered texts, pictures, and social media posts that infuriated him, prompting the suspect to allegedly unleash a weekend of physical and sexual violence on an identified woman. You friggin' Jack. I hope you're only 19, and I hope you absolutely spend every day in prison until you take your last breath. Because my ex did the same thing to me every night. Went through my phone, and we had a problem and didn't believe me. I got beat the fuck down. You are sickening. And my ex in the fucking roads because domestic violence is a misdemeanor. Labat took her phone away and raped her. The victim told investigators, according to the complaint, Labat also choked her until she was unable to breathe, felt lightheaded, and saw stars. He then threatened to kill her and her family and reminded her that she knew what he had done to a prior girlfriend. And this is a picture of the school. Yeah, I was in her dorm room. I'm pretty sure that even though it's an all girls school, you can still get permission to have members of the opposite sex come over. Um, it is a university. So I see why it wouldn't. The complaint victim as feeling terrified to the point that she would just lay next to Labat and not move for fear of what he would do to her. The victim also said she was punched numerous times in the face and stomach per the complaint. Labat also waterboarded his girlfriend on Saturday by placing her in the bathtub, putting a washcloth over her face, and dumping water over her head. On Sunday morning, the woman managed to get away from Labat by persuading him to let her go to the dining hall for food, she told authorities. He returned her phone and instructed her to keep in touch with him on Snapchat so he'd track her movement. At that point, she went to police to report the incident, then went to the hospital for examination. Labat's bail was set at $100,000, according to the probable cause statement. He appeared before the judge on Tuesday, and his next court date is October 9th. I know, right? First, we would just like to say we are grateful that this woman is still alive, Joe Shannon, Communications Program Manager for Violence Free Minnesota, said. If you think a friend or family is going through abuse or violence like this, reach out to them. Let them know you are there to listen and support them. Don't say what they should or shouldn't do. Just let them know you are there to support. And I'm just going to leave this right here in case anyone needs to read it. There you go. Oh, my lips look so in that. St. Catherine University and the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office did not immediately respond to people's requests for comment. It is unclear if Labat has retained an attorney to speak on his behalf. If you are experiencing domestic violence, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 or go to thehotline.org. All calls are toll-free and confidential. The hotline is available 24/7 in more than 170 languages. And I'll put, hey, Jeannie. I'm going to put this one up here instead, and then I'm going to pin this one. I'll pin this one at the top. That way we have them both, okay? Then this taking off. I'm just glad she's okay. Physically, hopefully, maybe mentally, things will change. This next story, I did not want to bring up anything political or anything about the border. However, I want you guys to know how massive they are coming over the Arizona border by the day. I really would like no comments about the president or anything like that. I am just letting you guys know I don't care about whatever. They're coming across illegally, and I just want you guys to know 9,100 migrants crossed from Mexico to Arizona in one day. Cartels control the border. Well, let me tell you something. Where I live, hey Summer, where I live is the first city you get to from Mexico. I live an hour from the Mexico border. This is the first city they come to when they leave Mexico. Where are them 9,000 people going? A day? Really? have so many homeless people, it's not funny. There's a freaking homeless person on every corner. It's a 4-way red light, and every corner has a homeless person asking for money. Where are y'all going to go? And y'all not even here legally, please. The border crisis keeps getting more shocking, with 9,100 migrants encountered in a single day, according to Border Patrol sources, close to the record-setting 10,000 a day in May. Yeah, I live an hour from Nogales. Well, you know, Jariah, you live in Arizona. Huge floodgates, which had been welded open in Arizona, allowing for migrants to simply walk into the country, are now closed. But the area is still overwhelmed with asylum seekers crossing into the United States. In a 24-hour period, 7,400 immigrants who crossed from Mexico into southern Arizona illegally surrendered to Border Patrol agents and were taken into custody. Another 1,700 migrants turned up at ports of entry seeking asylum the same day, overwhelming the available resources and leading Border Patrol agents to have to release immigrants into the streets of Arizona towns. And that's from federal law enforcement. A lot of these issues happen because the cartels, they're the ones who control the border. And that's from National Border Patrol Council. That's who said that. That's the union that represents Border Patrol. And they say a lot of these issues happen because the cartels control the border. I think one side is your side and the other is their side. They're the ones who determine where people cross, who can cross, everything. Del Cueto explains how other parts of the U.S.-Mexico border have added more resources, such as Texas, which has deployed its National Guard razor wire and floating. I think that floating border barrier is an amazing. I think it's a good thing. Even though they might drown trying to cross over the barrier, they shouldn't even do it anyway. Sorry. In the Rio Grande international boundary, smugglers have simply moved migrants looking to enter the country to remove stretches of Arizona. The cartels are not dumb. They know where the exposure is. They know where people are focused. Aha! A lot of traffic has moved over to Tucson sector. Look at this. To make matters worse, Del Cueto said flooding the border with asylum seekers is largely a smokescreen for their drug smuggling operations. The drug smugglers are the ones in charge of smuggling these people in. This, to them, is just moonlighting. Their main job is to bring drugs into the United States. They know that by using people, they distract more agents, and it opens up the border to where they can continuously bring in more drugs. That's something affecting the entire United States, where you're seeing fentanyl, heroin, and methamphetamines continuously pour into the country. They just had another massive bust here. Since July, the Border Patrol's Tucson sector has been ground zero across the country for migrant apprehensions, eclipsing other hotspots like El Paso and Del Rio in Texas, which had previously been the busiest over the last 2 years. I guess this is maybe Tucson. I don't know. That's where I live. Spanning all of southern Arizona except for Yuma, the Tucson sector is desolate, dotted with small dots like Nogales and Lukeville. The closest city is Tucson, some 2 hours. It's not 2 hours. Some 2 hours away from the international boundary. If it is, you can make it there in one. In addition, the Tohono O'odham National Reservation on the border makes the region difficult to surveil since there's no federal border wall at the reservation to stop migrants and smugglers. Just some barbed wire. Ask, what's his name? Danilo. Ask Danilo about some barbed wire. Razor barbed wire. You've got to realize when you catch a group on the reservation, you're looking at 2 hours to take migrants to an area to get processed. Here, it's pretty much four-wheel drive. You can't get a bus down there to get all the migrants to processing, he stated. The remote nature of the border in Arizona makes it difficult for agents to process migrants. You know what? If they want to become a citizen and come in here legally, I don't care. I don't care. But don't bring all that shit up in here from over there and come sell it to adults and children, and you know what I mean? Like, keep that shit over there, dude. If you want to come here, come legally, and that's just how it has to be. They're not prepared like they're prepared in other areas. They're a lot smaller. That's where we're getting a lot of the issues where the agency is having to release migrants to the streets. Y'all hear that, huh? And that's the federal government. Once migrants are caught, as they are on U.S. soil, they have to be processed and can then be allowed to pursue asylum claims and stay in the country, or they are deported. Processing centers where migrants are taken for a background check, medical screening, and so their illegal entry into the country can be recorded. What? Migrants are taken for a background check, medical screening, and so their illegal entry into the country can be recorded. In southern Arizona are so overwhelmed, the agency has run out of rooms at detention centers. Out to the streets of Casa Grande, Arizona. I used to live in Arizona City. That's 2 hours from here north. That's between here and Phoenix. In the last few days, they started releasing people into the streets, with at least 5,000 migrants set free in towns like Casa Grande and Nogales. Del Cueto shared photos of groups of single men with so-called notices to appear loitering in public spaces. See? The paperwork gives migrants a court date in front of an immigration judge who can determine if they even have a legal basis to stay in the country. However, the court date is often years down the road, as immigration courts are notoriously backlogged. So what do? Just stay here until they go to court? I'm so confused. Is that Cracker Barrel, y'all? I don't think that's a Cracker Barrel. I love Cracker Barrel, but I haven't been there forever. This is insane, you guys. All right, let's look at this. All right. July. All these numbers. California, Yuma, Tucson, El Paso, Big Bend, Del Rio, Laredo, Rio Grande Valley. Guess what? 39,215 to Tucson. Rio Grande Valley, 26,000. Del Rio, 24,000. Big Bend has 400. San Diego, 15,000. El Centro, 1,460. Yuma, 6,599. El Paso, 16,464. Laredo, 2,000. This is crazy. Get it together. I just say, stop bringing all that shit. 18-year-old here. Stop bringing all that shit to the city. That's all I want. Okay? Thank you. Okay, Ashton, let me talk about that real quick. I looked into that story you told me about. That story. It's not the same guy that killed Rachel Morin. It's not. So I wanted to let you know that. Yes, okay, let's go. 6 arrested. Woman allegedly abused, starved, and murdered after coercion by religious group. Another religious group incident.
Developing tonight at 6 people are facing charges in connection to the death of a woman whose body was found in the trunk of a car in Gwinnett County.
11 Alive's Tracy A. McPeer spoke with police about the horrors they say the victim faced leading up to her death.
Well, police tell me that all 6 suspects lived in the same Lawrenceville house, and the youngest suspect was only 14 years old. The victim's body was discovered by police late Tuesday night in the trunk of a car in the parking lot of the Jeju Spa at Gwinnett Place. Her name hasn't been released yet, but these are the suspects that are now charged in her murder: Eric Young, Junho Lee, Junhyum Lee, Gawam Lee, Hoonji Lee, and a juvenile only 14 years old. They're all facing charges of false imprisonment, felony murder, concealing the death of another, and tampering with evidence. Gwinnett police say the victim was kept in the basement of the house where the suspects lived. She was beaten and ultimately died of malnutrition.
Detectives believe that the victim was brought over from South Korea sometime in the summer under the guise or under what she thought to believe joining a religious organization. I believe she might have been deceased sometime late August. She might have been in the back of the vehicle for a few days.
One adult suspect, Eric Young, is in the hospital for unrelated injuries, but the other adult suspects should go before a judge tomorrow morning. In Gwinnett County, Tracy A. McPeer, 11 Alive News.
Dang, one of them was 14. Investigators report that, I'm not going to say their names. Sorry. I'll never get them. Investigators report that a woman aged in her late 20s or 30s was coerced into leaving South Korea by a group known as Soldiers of Christ. 6 individuals, including a 15-year-old in the article, but I'm pretty sure they just said 14 on the video, including a 15-year-old, are now in police custody in connection with her death. The woman was allegedly held against her will in a home in Lawrenceville, where she was physically abused and denied nourishment, factors that investigators believe contributed to her death. Can you imagine just starving to death and getting beaten in the process? How horrifying. Eric, 26, is thought to have moved her corpse using his vehicle. Another one who stands accused of murder is now, that's him. Eric, who stands accused of murder, is now in the hospital due to unrelated health issues. Okay, what about all the other ones? That was crappy. Another religious incident. What the hell is going on, people? I don't know. It really pisses me off. Sorry. Brian Laundrie's, how do you say that? Flippant text to pal after strangling Gabby Petito revealed. The travel YouTuber called a summer road trip with his girlfriend, who was already dead, once in a lifetime.
Days after Gabby Petito was killed, but before she was reported missing, her fiancé, Brian Laundrie, exchanged text messages with a friend named Ben about their cross-country trip. "Trip was good," Laundrie wrote on September 4th to Ben after returning home to Florida. "Gab and I had fun. Tired now. Gonna sleep for a week." The exchange, which was viewed by the messenger, did not indicate that anything bad happened to Petito. "We made a lot of content," Laundrie told Ben, referring apparently to footage for the couple's YouTube travel channel. "It was once in a lifetime." Petito, 22, vanished in August 2021 while on a road trip with Laundrie. They had spent the summer traveling together in a white van, documenting their adventures online. But on September 1st, Laundrie quietly returned to his parents' Florida home without Petito. Her family reported her missing on September 11th. After an exhaustive search, Petito's body was discovered in Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming on September 19th. She had been strangled and dead since late August. Before he could be arrested and charged, Laundrie was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound in a Florida park near his parents' home.
Days after Gabby Petito was killed, but before she was reported missing, I don't even want to say her fiance. Are you kidding me? Brian Laundrie exchanged text messages with a friend named Ben after their cross-country road trip. "Trip was good," Laundrie wrote on September 4th to Ben after returning home to Florida. "Gab and I had fun. Tired now. Gonna sleep for a week." When she was already dead, and he knew it because he left her up there. The exchange, which was viewed by the messenger, did not indicate that anything bad happened to Petito. We made a lot of content," Laundrie told Ben, referring apparently to footage for the couple's YouTube travel channel. "It was once in a lifetime." Petito, 22, vanished in August 2021 while on a road trip with Laundrie. They had spent the summer traveling together in a white van together, documenting their adventures online. But on September 1st, Laundrie quietly returned to his parents' Florida home without Petito. Her family reported her missing on September 11th. After an exhaustive search, Petito's body was discovered in Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming on September 19th. She had been strangled and dead since late August. Laundrie was declared a person of interest in the murder. Look how cute. Before he could be arrested and charged, he was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound in a Florida park near his parents' home. If you want to believe that, go ahead. Authorities found a notebook among his personal effects. In its pages, Laundrie confessed to killing Petito, claiming that he did so to end her pain after she fell. Well, let me tell you something. When I fall, people, don't end my life, because I have a very bad balance, what we call equilibrium, and I'm always like running into stuff, and I'm gonna fall. I will. I'm getting older. How are you gonna put her out of her misery from falling? I mean, come on. If she breaks something, bring her to the effing doctor. How bad could it be? But days before the alleged Mercy killing, Petito and Laundrie were questioned by police in Moab, Utah, after someone called 911 and reported that the couple had gotten into a physical altercation. We all saw that video. Officers separated the couple for the night but filed no charges. Petito's family has sued the police department, claiming that they treated Laundrie like the victim instead of the aggressor. 2 years after Petito was reported missing, her family is embroiled in a lawsuit against Laundrie's parents, claiming that they knew the young woman's fate but intentionally kept that information from authorities. And we also know that they sent in an offer, if you will, to the Petito family. On Monday, Petito's mother, Nicole Schmidt, posted on X about the anniversary of reporting her daughter missing. 9/11 is a day we will never forget, she wrote. Please be kind to one another today. Hashtag stronger together. For me, it's also the day I walked into a police station 2 years ago and was finally able to report our daughter missing. Share hashtag missing posters, please. Hashtag together we can. He deserves to be right, because I wish the alligators would have frickin' took his body. Would have done it, because this is just sickening. How y'all doing there? Someone was saying the other day he committed S because he couldn't live with everyone falsely accusing him. Whatever. If you are innocent, even if you're falsely accused and you know you're innocent and God knows you're innocent, why are you going to take your own life? Come on now. Come on now. Dad admits to getting runner's high from abusing his newborn. Guys, these stories are really bad. A Wisconsin father has been charged after telling police that his 2-month-old son's crying triggers him and that he got a high from inflicting pain on his body. I'm not. He enjoyed inflicting pain on a 2-month-old's body. Wow.
Parenting skills to promote health. You may have heard about child abuse and neglect. Do you know what they mean? They include acts of commission and omission and are preventable. Child abuse and neglect include acts of commission and omission. What are acts of commission? Acts of commission are deliberate and intentional. However, harm to a child might not be the intended consequence. Some examples include physical abuse, sexual abuse, psychological abuse. What are acts of omission? Acts of omission are the failure to provide for a child's basic physical, emotional, or educational needs, or to protect a child from harm or potential harm. Some examples include physical neglect, emotional neglect, medical and dental neglect, educational neglect, inadequate supervision, exposure to violent environments. About 1 in 7 children experience some form of child abuse or neglect in the last year. But we know the problem is underreported. That's why a consistent definition is so important. The good news is, We can stop child abuse and neglect before it starts. What can we do? We can work together to promote safe, stable, and nurturing relationships and environments so all children reach their full potential. Some strategies to consider include strengthen economic supports to families, change social norms to support parents and positive parenting, provide quality care and education early in life, enhance parenting skills to promote healthy child development, intervene to lessen harms and prevent future risk. These strategies help create families, neighborhoods, and communities where every child thrives.
I hope that you guys screen record this right here and just send it out to everybody that you know. The newborn has suffered significant injuries and remains hospitalized after being flown to Milwaukee Children's Hospital for treatment. Michael Ormond, 39, of Marshfield, has been charged with abusing his baby son and faces 2 counts of child abuse, one of intentionally caused great bodily harm and a second of intentionally causing harm, according to documents filed in Winnebago County Court. His bond is set at $50,000 and have no contact with minors, his son, or the son's mother if he bonds out. So he only needs like $6,000 to bond out, right? Newsweek reached out via email and Facebook on Wednesday to the OPD for comment. Court records listed Christine Bruin with J. Kippa Law Office as the attorney for Armand. They reached out via email and the law office's website for comment. Officers with the OPD responded to a call from Anina Hospital after the baby was brought there on September 7th with substantial bruising all over his body and a brain bleed. 2-month-old boy had just been released from the neonatal intensive care unit shortly before the abuse. The newborn, identified as V1 in the documents, had been born 2 months premature and spent 47 days in the hospital. This baby has gone through so much since it was born. He was released from the NICU 9 days prior to being readmitted with severe injuries. Michael admitted to having thoughts of hurting the victim since bringing him home from the hospital. Michael reported that after the baby came home from the NICU, he would hurt him when he was alone with him. Armand told investigators that he would pinch his son's toes when the baby was crying. It ultimately led to squeezing the baby's arms, legs, neck, and face. Armand reportedly told investigators that the worst incident was September 7th, the day the baby was hospitalized. He said there were 2 bouts of abuse that day, according to court documents. The first involved spanking the baby 3 times, and the second occurred later when Armand told police he squeezed the baby's legs, arms, neck, and mouth before shaking the boy and setting him down to You will be someone's bitch in prison, dude. You will be someone's bitch in prison, okay? And I hope you get worse than what you did to this baby. Michael stated that he has anger issues and the baby's crying triggers him. Michael reported that when he hurts the baby, he gets something like a runner's high. Never heard of a runner's high? Armand told police that he also abused his 2 daughters the same way when they were infants, saying to the investigators that he only had issues with babies under the age of 9 months. He goes back to court on September 21st. Yeah, okay. I'm done with that. Y'all, That's nice. Peoria father left toddler twins home alone for 5 hours to go gambling. That's here in Arizona. So this is the same county where Lori Vallow is going to be. This is Maricopa County. A West Valley father is accused of leaving his twin toddlers home alone for several hours to go gambling. You know what, guys? At least he didn't leave them in a hot freaking car. On Wednesday, just before 5 p.m., a neighbor called 911 said 2-year-old twins were running around alone outside a Peoria home with an aggressive dog. What? The neighbor told police the twins were outside for roughly 20 minutes, running near the street before he called 911 and brought them inside his house. Court documents say the garage door was open, but no adult was watching the twins. The children had dirt on their face, feet, and clothes and had full diapers. Police attempted to find the children's parents for over half an hour. 37-year-old Craig Updike pulled into the driveway. Court paperwork states Updike initially told police he went to Taco Bell a mile from his house near 91st and Northern Avenues. He claimed he was gone for 30 minutes, ordering and eating his food at the restaurant while leaving 2-year-old twins at home alone. You should have choked on that food. Then he says he messed up and it was his bad for leaving the kids that long. He was taken into custody until his wife arrived. When his wife arrived, he asked to speak to officers alone and changed his story. He repeatedly confessed that he didn't go to Taco Bell and instead went to Desert Diamond Casino around noon, 5 hours before police were called. Wow. 5 hours. He told officers he had a gambling addiction and knew he shouldn't have left the kids home alone. He reportedly locked the twins in their bedroom as they were napping and claimed he didn't know how they escaped or how the garage door was open. During a search, authorities found he had winning tickets from the casino and over $2,000 in cash. He was booked on 1 count of child abuse. What? There were a whole 2 children. Just could one. We're supposed to be sick. He should have evolved into a freaking rot. Woman left her own mother to suffer from infection, lie on floor for several weeks after she fell before she died. Booking photo of Abram McDonald, Pulaski County Sheriff's Office. Karen McDonald, 67, was left on the floor of her daughter's home for several weeks and died just 1 day after she finally received medical care in a hospital. Now her daughter is facing multiple charges of neglect and abuse. Abram McDonald, 49, was arrested for abusing and neglecting her 67-year-old mother in Kentucky this June, but she was only indicted by the district attorney on September 6th after a recommendation from a grand jury. Records from the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office show that upon McDonald's arrest, she was charged with wanton endangerment in the first degree, as well as 2 counts of knowing abuse of an adult. She remains in detention center on $250,000 bond. Pulaski County Detective Lieutenant Matt Bryan told CBS affiliate WKYT that a medical report determined her mother's main cause of death was sepsis, brought on for the substantial neglect of being left on the floor for weeks at a time after a fall in the home. The mother and daughter share the residence. It is very sad and very troubling to understand. It is not clear why Abra left her mother for such a long time. She will appear in court next for her arraignment on September 21st. In June, around the time McDonald was arrested for allegedly abusing and neglecting her mother, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear publicly heralded a call to action in the state to protect seniors from abuse while raising awareness about their plight. There was just under 800,000 seniors in Kentucky, according to NBC affiliate WLEX. The state's Adult Protective Services hotline reported on average of nearly 20,000 abuse or neglect complaints in 2022. Of those reported incidents, less than 8,000 turned into full-fledged investigations. Bashir said at a press conference in June that nearly 1 in 10 people over the age of 60 have been abused, neglected, or exploited just in Kentucky. Wow. I could never do that to my mom, dude. Never. Ever. My mom wouldn't be on the floor for a hot second. Mm-mm. I don't know. And then this story, I didn't read the whole story, but the title is kind of like, what? Ever. Not that bad. Parents arrested after roaches found in deaf-mute child's backpack blame their kids for home being in complete disarray. Mm-mm-mm. Samantha Aker, Christopher Rounds, and the home where they lived with their 4 kids, Volusia County Sheriff's Office. A man and woman in Florida were arrested this week after school staff reported that a child in their care came to school filthy and with roaches in her backpack, leading authorities back to her home, which they described as being filthy and in complete disarray. Samantha Acker and Christopher Rounds were taken into custody on Tuesday and charged with 4 counts each of neglect of a child, a third-degree felony. Rounds was also charged with 1 count of resisting an officer. According to a report, deputies with Volusia County Sheriff's Office on September 12th responded to a call from school officials after a 15-year-old girl who was deaf and mute arrived at school unbathed with dirty clothing and cockroaches in her backpack. The school notified the sheriff's office, and deputies responded to the home of Aker 37 and Rounds 36. In addition to the 15-year-old child, deputies said there were 3 other kids, 16, 10, and 8, who also lived in the home. Deputies said that all of the children were wearing clothing that had not been washed in a long time. Upon arriving at the address, authorities said they found the home in complete disarray, describing it as appearing to be completely infested with cockroaches and other kind of bugs. The front of the home were reportedly blanketed with more than 200 smoked cigarette butts. There were partially eaten food throughout the home and on the floors next to the trash, and dirty dishes and garbage piles blocked most of the doorways to the children's bedroom, where the bedding apparently had not been washed in some time. There were no working air conditioner despite temperatures regularly reaching close to 90 degrees. WFTV reported that despite the 15-year-old girl being deaf and mute since birth, no one in the household knew what? Oh, Lord Jesus, please help these people. This girl has been mute since and deaf since birth. 15 years, and they still don't know how to communicate with her. Sign language, nothing. No one in the household knew sign language or could competently communicate with the child. Could you imagine? A preliminary investigation reportedly revealed that the Department of Children and Families had previously been called to the same address based on concerns that Acker and Rounds were providing unsuitable living conditions after one of the children were reported having chronic head lice. Now my head itch, stop. When speaking with authorities, Acker reportedly said that the condition of the house was a mess, but not that bad, and blamed her children for never helping her clean the residence. Rounds reportedly became verbally confrontational with the deputies who responded to his home, resulting in the resisting arrest charge. However, authorities say he later blamed the home's deplorable state on the family having financial issues. or just being flat out lazy. All 4 of the children were placed in the custody of DCF and relocated to temporary guardians. Deputies noted that none of the kids showed any signs of being physically abused. Thank God. It's okay, Shamar. This is just insane. Oh my gosh. And this is another one who likes to slam his baby on the ground. Why does it have to be boys? Frustrated dad slammed infant son to the ground to make him stop crying, bit him when he was unresponsive, then called girlfriend before he called 911. Yes, you. A 32-year-old father in Michigan will spend over a decade behind bars for killing his 8-month-old son, slamming the little boy into the ground because he would not stop crying. Kyle Daring Craigling was ordered by 37th Circuit Court Judge John A. Hallisey on Monday to serve a sentence between 17 and 50 years in a state correctional facility over the brutal 2020 slaying of young Chris Craigling. In June, Kyle pleaded no contest to 1 count of second-degree murder in his son's death. In exchange for his plea, prosecutors dismissed charges of first-degree child abuse and open murder, where a jury would have the option to find the defendant guilty of first or second-degree murder. He has already served 1,043 days. According to the press conference from the Battle Creek Police Department from November 5th, 2020, officers and medical personnel on Monday, November 2nd, 2020, responded to an emergency call about an unresponsive infant at Craigling's home located in the 100 block of West Territorial Road. Upon arriving at the scene, first responders located the victim and transported him via Life Care ambulance to the Bronson Methodist Hospital in Kalamazoo for treatment. Chris Craigling was admitted to the facility in critical condition. Unfortunately, the infant was pronounced dead from a severe head injury on November 4, 2020, 2 days after his arrival. In interviews with investigators, Kyle initially claimed that before calling 911, his son had fallen off his bed and injured himself. However, police noted in the release that the officers who responded to the home believed the child's injuries may not have been consistent with an accidental fall. A subsequent autopsy performed by the Calhoun County Medical Examiner's Office determined that the baby's manner of death was a homicide, and the Detective Bureau and Crime Lab were called in to assist the case. A copy of the probable cause affidavit obtained by Grand Rapids NBC affiliate Wood TV provided additional details about the appalling crime. According to the report, police and medics who responded to the initial 911 call at Craigling's home noted that the infant had what appeared to be a fresh bruise on his forehead. Investigators reportedly continued to question Kyle and pressed him as to the circumstances of the baby's death. In a subsequent interview, Kyle reportedly admitted that on the day his son suffered the fatal injuries, he had dropped the boy in a bedroom. He said the baby fell and struck the bed frame before hitting the floor. After the fall, Craigling reportedly told police that the baby would not stop crying, causing him to grow increasingly frustrated. He then admitted that he began to shake his infant son, but the boy kept crying, so he finally slammed Chris to the ground. After being slammed, the infant stopped crying, but also became completely unresponsive. He said he tried pinching and biting the child's rear to provoke a response, but was unsuccessful. Oh my gosh. He then called the baby's mother, who is now his ex-girlfriend, before calling 911. Just about every one of these child abuse death cases is preventable, Calhoun County Prosecutor David Gilbert told MLive after the sentencing hearing. It can be very tough being a parent, but this is never acceptable. Hey, Avery. Okay. And this I saw And I just want to tell you, in case I didn't know. Parents said baby was decapitated in delivery filed a second lawsuit over the image. The pathologist admitted his actions, which the family's lawyer calls diabolical. The lawyer for a Georgia couple announced a second lawsuit on Tuesday, September 12th, connected to the alleged decapitation death of their baby during a delivery. In August, Jessica Ross, 20, and Travion Isaiah Taylor Sr., 21, sued the OBGYN, who they claim used excessive force to deliver their child. In the new lawsuit, the couple sued the pathologist they hired to perform an autopsy, posting images of their deceased child on social media. First lawsuit accuses Dr. Tracy St. Julian and Southern Regional Medical Center of medical malpractice, gross negligence, fraud, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Roderick Edmond, the family's attorney, said the couple asked for a C-section when the baby was stuck but still alive during the vaginal delivery. St. Julian refused to perform a C-section. Instead, she applied ridiculously excessive force on the baby's head and neck. Hospital staff allegedly wrapped the deceased infant tightly in a blanket and propped its head on top to appear that it was attached to the body. Hospital staff allowed the young couple to only view their dead child. Y'all, I don't know what to say no more. Oh, as usual, we had big barbecue event. The worst case I've ever been a part of. Prosecutor disgusted with mom who allows 4-year-old to be beaten to death. A 26-year-old mom in New Mexico is facing decades behind bars after formally admitting to her role in the horrific death of her 4-year-old son, who was brutally beaten to death by her roommate in 2019. Krista Cruz on Wednesday conceded that she knowingly put her son in a deadly situation, pleading guilty to 1 count of abandonment of a child under 13, resulting in death, 2 counts of child abuse, and 1 count of failure to report abuse in the slaying of young James Dunkley. In a press release, the 2nd Judicial District Attorney's Office said that James, in December 2019, was severely beaten and did not survive his injuries. Zariq Marquez, who was babysitting James on the night he beat the boy to death, pleaded guilty in 2022 to intentional child abuse resulting in death and was subsequently sentenced to life in prison. During the proceedings, Assistant District Attorney Savannah Brandenburg-Koch told the court that young James was severely abused continuously leading up to the day of his death. Child abuse is what I see all day, every day. I see the worst of the worst. And James's case was the worst of the worst. She reportedly told the court, "It's the worst case I've ever been a part of, but the most important case I've ever been a part of." Cruz, who was initially arrested in December 2021, originally pleaded not guilty to 1 count of reckless abuse of a child resulting in death before pleading to lesser charges on Wednesday. She is facing a maximum sentence of 22 years. That's it. According to a previous report, law enforcement authorities on December 10, 2019, found James dead in Marquez's apartment where he and his mother had been staying. Authorities said they had visible bruises and other injuries that appeared non-accidental. In an interview with police at the scene, he reportedly claimed that James went to the bathroom and checked out his ear. When he returned from the restroom, Marquez claimed the boy said, "I don't feel good, Dad," and then suddenly fell backwards and struck his head on the wall. However, an autopsy reportedly confirmed that investigators had been suspecting that James had been the victim of physical abuse for months before he was ultimately beaten to death. He had reportedly suffered bruising and cuts all over his body, a lacerated liver and pancreas, bruised lungs, and large amount of blood in his brain and abdomen. The boy also had multiple fractures to his jaw and chin. He freaking punched that baby in the mouth. Cruz knew about this. There was abuse going on that she was aware of that the state could prove, and she failed to report any of the abuse to anyone. The presiding judge did not sentence Cruz on Wednesday or schedule a date for her formal sentencing hearing. And I didn't just knowingly pick out all of these articles. I literally didn't. In this freaking world. This is that I have. She needs to pay $27 million. Penelope, stop growling at me. She's and this is the 13th. Penelope, stop. Get over here. Come on. How she is. Diego Stoltz, 13, died in September 2009 after he was punched by two bullies and hit his head on a pillar. A California school district agreed to pay $20 million to the legal guardians of a 13-year-old boy who was fatally beaten at school in what the family's attorneys say is the largest bullying settlement in the United States. Bring back their son. Diego Stoltz was a student at Landmark Middle School in Moreno Valley, California, on September 16, 2019, when he was sucker punched in the head by two other male students. He found in his head blur, causing a massive brain. The fight was captured on graphic video by a witness. Diego never regained consciousness and died 9 days later. The wrongful death lawsuit filed in 2020 alleged that administrators at the school had been warned before that it was being bullied. They completely disregarded such warnings and did absolutely nothing to stop the bullying. The suit also accused the Moreno Valley Unified School District and its employees of blatantly ignoring red flags that could have saved Diego's life. The family's law firm sent CNN a statement announcing the settlement Thursday, 4 years since the fatal fight. The family will be heartbroken by the death of Diego, but they hope this case brings about change in school districts across the country. Lead counsel Dave Ring said in the statement, "Schools need to realize that bullying can never be tolerated and that any complaints of bullying and assault must be taken seriously. Diego's death was preventable if this school had simply prioritized an anti-bullying policy. This lawsuit has put schools on notice to find ways to effectively deal with bullying and to enact real anti-bullying policies. Although his family's grief can never be taken away, we believe real change will come and there will be a renewed focus on anti-bullying programs across the nation." The school district's lawyer, Michael Marlott, said his client determined the settlement was a fair and reasonable amount. "We recognize that this was a tragic case with challenging issues. Given the reality of the facts of the case and recent trend of jury verdicts, it's sent to have a resolution in the amount of $27 million. Let me see. Did y'all press that like button for me, y'all? Never Silent. Can you post the information for bullying in the chat, please? Moreno Valley Unified School District Superintendent Rex. Thanks. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Someone just walked in here. Moreno Valley Unified School District Superintendent Martin Rex sent a letter to families and staff on Wednesday announcing the settlement and highlighting some anti-bullying over the past few years. These names are hard to pronounce. On behalf of the Moreno Valley Unified School District Board of Education, we want you to know that we truly care about each and every student and staff member in our district. The news of Diego's death was not something we took lightly. The safety and well-being of our students is and will remain our top priority. The two teenage boys involved in the assault admitted to charges of involuntary manslaughter, according to CNN affiliate KBC. They spent 47 days in juvenile custody and in 2021 were sentenced to probation and released to the custody of their parents. Thank you, Avery. I'm sorry. Okay, that's all I have. I'm cutting away to the end, right, you guys? I hope y'all have a good evening, and I will see you tomorrow.